guys. Please don't mind me, I have a flu while we are recording this.
Yep, we are actually at the back seat of a Grab car on our way home from
Friends of Figma workshop where we were both facilitators.
Yeah.
How do you feel about it, Chuan?
Actually I feel quite refreshing. We get to, volunteer for Friends of Figma, like give back to the community.
Yeah, I thought it was
But
nice.
at the same time, hearing from other designers.
And I really like the fact that for today's session, the both of us are finally in attendance.
Oh yeah. And then we want to take this chance to also record this
An
intro for this episode.
Yes, also because just a segue, one of the participants for the workshop today happens to be
our guest.
Yes. So we would like to introduce you to Grace Ling. She is working in EA right now, Electronic Arts. And at the same time, she is also a content creator on YouTube, and she runs Design Buddies on Discord, considered as one of the biggest design communities on Discord.
Right,
Yeah. So for this episode will be an interview with Grace, but just so happened she's in Singapore for 2 weeks to visit her family, and I, Adila, conducted the interview because Xuan wasn't around.
Yeah, I feel a bit FOMO not being able to be there, but yeah, Adila did a great job at doing this interview. Yeah, so we hope you enjoy this episode.
Yes. Oh yes, and Grace also even has a Gutams, so I look forward to that.
Nice.
Okay, so hope you guys enjoy this interview for this episode. Till we talk again next time. Welcome everyone to today's special episode of KSDL with Grace Ling. Welcome, Grace. Can you tell us a bit more about yourself and how has it been for you here in Singapore?
Yeah, thanks for having me on. I'm honored to be here. I'm Grace. I founded Design Buddies. We have 57,000 members on Discord helping designers land jobs across the world. I currently work as a UX designer at Electronic Arts, designing products for content creators and events. And I love creating content about design, career, lifestyle, travel. I love to draw as well. It's been great in Singapore. I've actually visited Singapore over 10 times in my life because my father is from Singapore. And I would say this trip is actually my favorite. And that's because thanks to Design Buddies and the internet, I have so many friends here to do excursions every single day for the past week and a half, flying off in a couple of days, but it's been my favorite. I met the most people from like the design, tech, content creator, founder, running community as well, so it's been great. And the weather is very hot here. I can't get out without sweating. It's definitely different, a contrast. I'm based in the SF Bay area in California, so it's definitely a contrast. And I've really had lots of fun times and meeting new people here, doing fun excursions, and made lots of great friends here as well.
Okay, that's awesome to know. So far being in Singapore, how is the food like for you?
Yeah, I try to balance both. I try to be safe, but also trying to experiment with different things. And for me, I try not to repeat any orders. So I've been going to some hawker centers with some friends and ordering a wide variety of stuff and just sharing and trying out as much as I can. I am just lactose intolerant though, so I can't have dairy and I can't have anything too spicy, which limits my choices. But I really enjoyed iced kachang. I like sweet cold stuff. That's what I liked, and yuan yang, the coffee and tea mix.
Okay. So I think I spoke to you back when we met during the Singapore Designers Product Meetup, right? And then you mentioned you had a taste of nasi lemak before.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, it was great, right? Yeah. Okay, so just to start off our topic, but before that, I guess you guys surely have read our title for this episode, but I wanted to just transition into your working status right now. So before we start our topic, I just wanted to know, how has it been like in your journey into UX industry? How did you get in, and what is it like for you so far?
Yeah, when I got into UX, I didn't really know what I was doing. I guess long story short, I transitioned my career many times. Growing up, I really wanted to be an anime artist or a game concept artist, game designer. I watch a lot of animes, play a lot of games, but my parents were like, yo, art don't pay. You got starving artists. So I go into engineering, be a doctor, engineer, lawyer. So I came into college studying bioengineering and computer science engineering. I want to learn how to biohack myself to run faster and tell everyone I want to be a doctor to sound prestigious. and then I was like, I did some internships in medical research, and I didn't see myself doing that for my rest of my life. So I decided to go into computer science and engineering because I want to learn how to make games. And I had a couple of internships in game design, software engineering, made VR, virtual reality, AR games, and AR games. And I realized I didn't really like to code. Like, I really wish I liked coding, but I just like couldn't feel the code. Like I tried so hard because I was born and raised in Silicon Valley.
You felt not one with the code.
Yeah, I didn't feel one with the code. I was just, Stack Overflowing, and during my internship, I really enjoyed working with the other artists and game designers. I thought their work with doing was really interesting. I also got experience doing the end-to-end product cycle, and I really enjoyed testing with users my game and getting the feedback and iterating on that. So I like the design part more than the coding part. And that helped me kind of get into design because I really like UX design right now because it's like a mix of art and science. Art, as in you inject your own creativity to solve a problem, and you can have ways to measure success and test hypotheses. So it's like the science engineering part of design that I really like. So that's how I got into design, and I would say I actually got into design because, kind of step back a little. I ended up getting my foot in the door by cold reaching out to someone on LinkedIn, and I feel like that was pretty unconventional, but I guess I can also like break down how I got there as well. And so during my transition to design, it was the end of 2019. I recently graduated from undergrad, and I didn't really know what I was doing, so I signed myself up for grad school in computer science engineering. So I did that, and then at the same time when I was a student, I decided to pick up a bunch of random design projects to build up my portfolio. So I did a lot of volunteer work, I did freelance work, I joined design competitions, design challenges, and built up my portfolio to later use to cold reach out to get my job.
I'm interested to learn a bit more about the games that you did. So basically, when you say that you designed the game, you actually created the characters, illustrated it, and then animated it. Was that it?
Yeah, so in the games that I made in the past, I guess for some context, at EA, I actually don't work on games. I work on player experience marketing products, but in the past, I've created 2 virtual reality games. The first one was I was a student and just experimenting in a lab, and that game is called Selfie, CELLFIE. It's like a biology-inspired game.
Cells.
Cells.
CELL.
Yeah, because like you can be a cell in VR. So I was like, taking a selfie, but you're a cell. And I did everything about it because I wanted to learn everything about games and making a game. So I did all the concept art, all the illustrations,
I guess
design.
the name Selfie came from also the fact that you were from engineering.
Yeah, bioengineering.
And then you want to merge with your gaming interests. Oh, that's very nice.
Yeah, so that was the first time I was able to bridge like my bioengineering background to design and games. But I really wanted to learn how to use game engine, so it was more like a project for me to just learn all the skills it takes to make a game. And then the other game I made was during my internship at Intuitive Surgical. They make robotic surgery tools to do surgery, and I made a VR surgery training game to help surgeons to do surgery. And I designed like a cooking simulation game so the surgeons can improve their motor skills.
Oh, so meaning if it's VR, meaning they are playing on a computer.
They're playing in their custom surgery sim.
Okay.
Intuitive Surgical, they had their custom built sim because when you're doing surgery, they have their hardware where you sit in and then like put your arms in the little tools to like do the surgery procedure on there too. So it was mimicking that. Yeah.
I'm starting to see a pattern here where you have a certain interest and then you merge it with something and then you create something, right?
Yeah.
You like to have it seems like you like to have your hands dirty and create something from scratch.
Yeah.
Is that it?
Mhm.
Yeah. So I was just looking into your background a bit more. Also, I realized that you had exposure in photography, videography, because you started a running YouTube channel before this, and then you even had a photography. Was it a YouTube channel as well?
Yeah, it was Instagram mostly.
Instagram, and then there was one. I think is it Creative Life? Correct me if I'm wrong, or is it Art Life? The Etsy shop that you had.
Oh, Candy Leaf.
Candy Leaf. So sorry.
It's okay.
Yeah. So yeah, I saw that, and I saw like the pattern here. The way I see it is very interesting how you explore different areas that your interests take you, and then you merge it together for something. Would you say that was how Design Buddies eventually was cooked up, because you had different interests together?
Yeah, I would say Design Buddies for me, I just wanted to make friends in design, and the branding came from, I just like bunnies, and buddies sound like bunnies, so it came to be. I was trying to transition my career from engineering to design, and I didn't really know anyone in design, and I found that other design communities that I was in at that time, like, really intimidating for me to engage in. So I was like,
in what way was that intimidating? Were they not friendly or what?
Yeah, for me, I was afraid. I was like more self-conscious, I would say, like afraid to ask a question, and I was afraid people would say like, oh, if I ask that question, it will show that I don't know anything or something. So it was that kind of fear. So I was like, I just want to make some friends and learn design together. So that's how Design Buddies initially started.
I see. And also the fact that I think during that time was when COVID happened.
Yeah.
And then that's where people went online. I guess it was a great timing for you as well.
Yeah, April 2020. So we started.
Yeah, right? Yeah. Other than that, I'm also interested to know more about when you were doing Design Buddies. Did you set up on your own, or did you decide to do it with some initial early friends that you made?
Actually, it was something I just started on my own. I actually didn't know anyone
at all
that I would feel like I wanted to build a Discord server with at that time. I actually don't have a co-founder. I'm actually passively looking for one as well. So yeah, it was just something I just started on my own, and it just kept growing, and over time we had a lot of really great volunteers come and helped engage the community even further as well, and keep growing that direction too.
Since now it's like 3 years already, do you have like a core team working with you on Design Buddies?
Yeah, we do. We have our team members. We're a really small team, so it's mostly me and Alexa doing partnerships, sponsorships, Haidita doing all the community, and also helping us with design challenges and events. Really small, so you make decisions quickly.
Oh, that's great. It's really nice to know that you at least now you have great friends to work with and depend on, right?
Yeah, and with the in-person meetups, I'm so grateful. I have a lot of friends in Singapore, also in the SF Bay Area, and around the world. So whenever I travel or in my hometown, I can host events with as well.
Other than Singapore, what are other countries do you look forward to creating, like, your presence in, and then building a community there as well?
Yeah, up next, I'm actually going to Europe for a month. I'm going to 10 different countries, but it's with a cruise, so it's like I won't have time to host meetups, but I'm probably going to host our next meetup in the Bay Area again, and then later in Florida, because I'm going to go there for another conference. So whenever I travel and I have time, I try to organize a meetup and helping the local community connect and maybe inspire them to kickstart their own meetups too.
Do you have enough time for yourself? Seems like you're always so busy with meeting up with people.
Yeah, I do actually. I feel like I describe myself as an extrovert, and I get bored if I have nothing to do, and I feel like that's draining for me. Like, I can't be at home the whole day. Like, I just get so bored and so tired. So I love community building, because this trip is my favorite to Singapore over the 10 times, because I have so many friends, multiple friends every day to do excursions with, and that like energizes me so much instead of like staying at home.
I see.
For me, yeah.
I see. Okay, so let's transition into the topic, which is unconventional way of getting a job in UX. So Grace, in your what is your own definition of unconventional way of getting a job in the UX industry? Maybe you can give us what was your definition and what you thought was right, what you thought was wrong, what proved you wrong.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel unconventional is not conventional. So what I thought the conventional way, the traditional way to getting a job, what I was like kind of taught in school was you have to apply online and just wait for it to come to you instead of you actively reaching out. So you just like, submit your resume into the void. So I feel like that was what I was taught growing up, and optimizing my resume, my cover letter. I feel like that's so important, but just like passively applying, that's why that was conventional to get a job. Unconventional is anything that is not like that. So I've experienced success with cold reaching out on LinkedIn, but also when you cold reach out, it's important to also have the skills and experience to back that up too. And also posting on LinkedIn specifically, because a lot of hiring managers and recruiters hang out there. So creating
Do you have
content
any hiring managers who are your good friends now?
We're friends on a personal basis. So I friends with a lot of hiring managers and founders. Yeah, because I like talking with them as well as humans.
Was it because you have design buddies, that's why they decided to reach out to you?
Yeah.
I see.
Design buddies and my posts on LinkedIn and my portfolio as well.
I'm interested to know what kind of LinkedIn posts normally would you post? And how often do you post?
Yeah, on LinkedIn, I try to post, when I'm at home, I try to post at least 3 times a week on LinkedIn. And then I feel like creating content, I try to post something that's like either inspirational, actionable, and informational. So I usually like to share like what I'm learning along the way as well. So I take like frequently asked questions I get asked. So I post about like networking, post about like how to network in in-person events, how to follow up, post about how to start creating content, post about different ways to learn design. So it's all based on the questions that I personally get asked, and what I see in Design Buddies, and topics that I feel that I can talk about as well. So that's how I think about it. And then I also like to make it more like lifestyle, because I like to be relatable. And so I post about like, oh, what I'm doing, like, oh, I host a meetup, or like, oh, I'm speaking at this event. These are some key takeaways. So I just try to share like informational, but also like what I'm doing, lifestyle, or like where I'm traveling to, and just be more fun with it too. I also post my drawings, and sometimes I post TikTok videos of me dancing in random places.
You post this on LinkedIn?
I did. So I actually
brave.
did a LinkedIn dance. Me and my friend, we created a LinkedIn dance.
A LinkedIn dance?
Yeah, we designed a dance. It was because it was like a spin-off of TikTok dance. We just like made a LinkedIn dance at Config at the conference, and we posted it there. So it's all like random stuff that has something to do with career. And I try to like put my own spin on it and make it fun.
I see. It's so amazing to hear from you, and speaking with you makes me just keep smiling, not just because of the way you are, but all the things that you do.
Thank you.
Yeah, really, really. If you guys were to meet Grace in person, I can tell she's just a very bubbly character.
Thank you.
Yeah, her laugh is really contagious. Yeah. So other than that, how do you think the definition of unconventional ways will evolve with upcoming generations? Like, for example, now I know, LinkedIn works for maybe our generation. I'm a millennial. Are you a millennial or Gen Z?
Gen Z, right between millennial and Gen Z.
Okay, right between. So we're quite close, I guess. I hope so. So in the future generations, people who maybe have very short attention span, and then maybe they prefer TikTok rather than connecting on LinkedIn, how do you think would unconventional ways be like for them?
Yeah, it's interesting. I saw TikTok launch a career thing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was like creating short form videos, like a short form resume. I feel like
wait, how does it work? Are they speaking on the video?
I think so. I haven't looked into it that much, but I've seen people like do a 2-minute blurb about themselves, like dancing. Like, oh, this is what I do.
Dancing?
But, yeah, like dancing. But I feel like with that in mind, I also know dancing and creating TikTok videos, it can seem daunting to a lot of people. I don't think you need a dance on TikTok to be successful in your career. I think there's many different ways to be successful. Like, I don't want that to like deter anyone or anything. But in my opinion, I feel like in the future, there's going to be a lot of AI tools coming out. I feel like it's going to be part of our lives. And I would say maybe integrating, like trying out that. I feel like how unconventional ways could also evolve is with the rise of social media. Pros and cons. I know a lot of people like don't really like social media, but social media, in my personal experience, has unlocked me with so many opportunities. Like, that's why I advocate for using social media, posting on it, connecting with people on that as well. So I don't think LinkedIn's going away anytime soon. In fact, I see more and more Gen Z folks on there as well. And also, the overall tone of LinkedIn has shifted in my experience since 2020. Like, I would say before 2020, most people use LinkedIn as like super traditionally professionals. Like, they only use it to announce like their successes. Like, yeah, I'm excited to announce I got a job here, blah, 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 blah. And now I've seen people treat LinkedIn kind of like lifestyle.
Storytelling.
Yeah, storytelling, lifestyle. It's kind of like getting into the vibe of like Facebook a little, but still
professional.
Yeah. So I would say, like, LinkedIn, I think it's here to stay. Creating content on there helps. I've also known friends who've landed jobs through connecting with others on like Twitter, Instagram, and maybe even Threads coming up as well.
Yeah.
So
how about Clubhouse?
Clubhouse, yeah. I've also met a lot of great people and had a lot of great collaborations within Clubhouse, but in my experience, the usage has significantly gone down, which is sad, which sucks.
I agree with you, because I think it was either a year or 2 years ago was when I saw you actually on Clubhouse. We were hopping around in different design rooms, and then it was so addictive. So if one room ends, you want to hop to another room, and then sometimes it will be 12 a.m. at night for me, but maybe it's in the morning for you guys, and then you guys will be actively talking. I'm just listening. So I think it was from there I found you as well. And also I found another member who was the founder of Friends of Figma, the Discord server, Zoe, from there as well. So it's funny because when I met her, it was from Clubhouse, and then we jumped to LinkedIn to connect. From LinkedIn, we jumped to Discord. So it was different, many applications. So like, for example, for you as well, from Clubhouse was when I found you actually.
Yeah, Clubhouse was so fun back in the day. I don't think I've seen people use Twitter Spaces pretty often as well, so maybe that might be a way. I personally never used it, but I've known people who found success in Twitter Spaces too.
Since Threads is coming up, do you think that's a good space for one way of getting a job?
I feel like it's too early to tell. Threads, I think at this time it's only been out for 2 weeks. About 2 weeks. I personally haven't used it that much to have an opinion on it because I've been in Singapore, so I haven't like been active on my Threads. But I would say it's very exciting. Got a lot of users very quickly, and so I'm excited to see the space and what comes from that. And I would say when I think of like getting a job, I feel like it's never one size fits all, and I feel like it really depends how you use the tools. And just because someone might be successful on like LinkedIn or Instagram, doesn't mean, like, I feel like just because someone might want to use like LinkedIn, I don't think that means like everyone needs to use LinkedIn. I feel like just try out everything and find the one that works for you and try it. But yeah, don't hold back on like trying different platforms.
I think adding on to that would be open to trying out different platforms, and also choose one that you can be consistent with. Because I feel that sometimes people get so overwhelmed with all the different platforms, and then they try this, it doesn't work for me, then they stop trying. Or maybe they try something, then they put it too intense, or maybe they're not able to commit to it consistently, so they cannot see any form of effort or the ROI coming up from it, right?
Yeah, and with those social media, I feel like there's also a lot of value in connecting with people in in-person events as well. And so try to find local events around your area, meet other peers, meet other like founders, hiring managers, people to connect with and learn from as well. Is also like, I feel like that personal connection, I feel like I get to know that person even more compared to connecting with them online as well. So try to join in-person meetups, conferences, events, and yeah, I've known people who like found jobs through that. That's actually how I got my internship at Intuitive Surgical. I went to a career fair and I connected with the hiring manager in person there as well. So it's, try to find in-person connections.
Okay, I see. So Grace, could you share with us like any stories or experiences you've done to get a job in an unconventional way? I know we've been speaking about it for some time now, but maybe are there any other good stories or maybe bad experiences that you did something, you tried it out, it didn't work out for you, then you realize, okay, maybe try it a different way, and it worked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I cold reached out to 400 people on LinkedIn.
Wow.
So what I did
did you copy paste the message? Okay.
No, so I strategically, so like what I did was 400 people. So this was over a span of 1 month, and my strategy was I used LinkedIn search. I searched for senior manager and director of UX design, product design, filtered by company, filtered by location, and I added all of them. I also looked at the people also viewed section, added them as well. So that's how I like found that many people. And then I made sure to write a short personalized invite. So it'll be like, hi, name, I'm Grace. I am a student studying computer science and engineering, trying to pivot my career to UX design. Would love to know about how you got to where you are today. And just keep it very short and sweet, and try to get like on a 15-minute call with them and just get to know their story, get to know their background, and make friends as well. And that's actually how I got to know my hiring manager at EA.
Okay.
And so that's how I did that. And yeah, it was great. And then I feel like the good mindset to kind of come in these reach out and messages is coming from a position of just learning and don't have any expectations of getting a job, because that would ruin the vibe. And so I actually, not everyone is hiring, but I also make sure to make it of mutual value too. So whenever I ask someone for a coffee chat, I always make sure to ask them, like, is there any way I can help you out as well? Or let me know how I can help in any way. And yeah, sometimes, and I've stayed connected to many people. So I probably had about 30 coffee chats. I've stayed connected with many of them. Now they're like long-term mentors. They give me advice. If they want to work at EA, I've helped give them referrals as well. And so I kind of approach networking like a long-term thing, not just a one-off transactional thing. It's kind of like building friendships, building relationships. So that's how I got my job unconventionally without any. So I don't have any design degree. I don't have any certification. All I had was a portfolio with experience on it and projects and a network to get a job.
So guys, there you have it, the recipe, the secret of getting a job. So that's the end of the episode. No, just kidding. Okay, so back to that. I was curious to know when you were cold calling all those connections on LinkedIn, right? With the EA hiring manager from EA specifically, was it like you built a relationship with her first or him first, and then you moved on and the connection grew, and then when a job came in, then they thought of you? Was that how it was?
Actually, I feel like I got really lucky. It was during the time of COVID, and I remember it was early 2020. I was trying to get an internship in design, and I kept submitting applications and getting ghosted or rejected because I didn't have any design degree or certification, I think. Or maybe my portfolio was too junior for them, or I'm not really sure, but I either got ghosted or rejected automatically. So I was like getting a little bit desperate because I'm just like, it's April, I want a summer internship. So I was a little desperate. But thankfully, I'm so grateful for Marlon from EA for like taking the call. And during the call, I remember he automatically like assumed I wanted an internship. So
okay.
I didn't have to say anything. Like
you didn't mention the word internship in your introduction as well, right? You just said, I just want to have a chat with you. Yeah.
And I'm like so grateful for that. Like he knew. I feel like he's been in the industry for so long. Like he's so experienced. He probably knew.
Yeah.
And so I'm like so grateful.
Maybe
for that.
hearing your voice, he said, "Oh, this is a very excited girl."
Yeah. And I actually asked him like, "What made you want to hire me?" And it was actually my how vibes I give off. Like I'm very curious, wanting to learn, even though I didn't have like a design degree or certification. I had some projects in my portfolio, but I had an interesting, like very diverse background, like engineering, pre-med, art. And I feel like a lot of times I know a lot of people who transition to design from a complete other career and feel behind in their career.
Yeah.
And I used to feel the same way. Then I start to realize that's actually a strength and having different backgrounds because you have so many skills that can cross over to design and leverage that to help you stand out as a designer in the hiring process.
So when you were doing this, was this before you started posting on LinkedIn regularly, or was it the same time?
Around the same time. So I started posting on LinkedIn regularly around March of 2020. It was during COVID, and I saw a lot of people posting their experiences on LinkedIn, and I was like, this feels like a lifestyle blog. So a bit more background about myself. I've been on the internet since I was in high school, and I actually started creating content on Tumblr back in 2014 because I kept getting bad grades in language arts, and I wanted to improve my writing skills. And it was so fun. I met so many great people, and I continue to create content to this day, but I never thought of posting on LinkedIn until 2020. And I was like, oh, I guess this LinkedIn's not that scary. So I started posting on LinkedIn then.
Yeah. I saw from your profile as well that you were once a writer, right? That you were writing regularly and posting. Maybe that's where your writing skills landed to your skill in writing for LinkedIn.
Yeah, so I create content on LinkedIn. I also wrote for some public journalism club in school when I was in college as well. So communication journalism, photography. So I created a lot of content that way too. So I had a lot of experience, like very like scattered all around, which helped me as a content creator a lot today.
Sorry to ask if it's a bit personal, but when you were growing up, was there someone who actually honed this side of you, or was it something that you were just born with? Like having so much interest, trying this and that. Did your mom encourage you or anybody?
I feel like growing up in America, and I also just kind of reflecting on my childhood. So both my parents I would say they're traditional Asian parents. My mom's from Taiwan, my dad's from Singapore. Their parents from Singapore and Taiwan as well. And I was born and raised in the U.S., in California, San Francisco Bay Area. And the environment I grew up in was also 90% people who looked like me. And it was like a lot of immigrants. So it was really competitive in school and stuff. And everything felt very structured. Like all the kids do extracurricular. All the kids had to study for exams, get good grades and stuff, compare with each other. So I would say the environment I grew up in California seems very similar to Singapore. So I was like used to that. But for me as a kid, I was always like, I thought normal was boring. So I was like, I don't like to be mainstream. I think that's like too normy for me. And I was a class clown, so I got in trouble so much for telling jokes in class, but I loved making people laugh. I got so much happiness when I see other people happy as well. So I was like, I just want to tell these jokes. But like I would tell them in class in like inappropriate times. And I got sent to the principal's office many times. So I always had that like rebellious energy in me just because I felt like being normal was boring. And I feel like that shaped a lot of who I am today. And my parents have been pretty chill as well. Like they're pretty open to whatever I wanted to do. They were kind of sus. They were kind of like surprised I didn't want to do engineering anymore.
I was gonna ask that just now and I forgot. So how was your reaction when you decided, hey parents, I decided not to pursue engineering anymore, I'm gonna pivot into UX design? How was their reaction?
Yeah, they were like kind of confused at first. They were like, what is UX design? And then whenever they would run into a problem like navigating a website, I was like, that is why we need UX designers. And so I try to like show them what it is. And then once I started working full time, they asked me how much I got paid. So I told them, and after that they're like, all right, UX design it is. So they just like care about the money at the end of the day.
I see. Okay, typical parents.
Yeah.
Not saying about yours, but mine as well. I used to wanted to go into something artsy as well last time when growing up, but my mother was saying, no, go under IT or go under business. Then she actually applied for business for me, but instead I said, okay, how about I do IT combined with design, which is very close to art, basically. So that's what happens, and then that's how I became a web designer, and then now I'm a UX designer.
Nice.
Yeah. So just a question to you, as a content creator, with the sea of content being created in the web, how do you determine what's meaningful to be created and published to the world? Like for example, when you see like there are now, especially now, there are more and more people creating content on LinkedIn, and then maybe also on Instagram, TikTok. So for you personally, how do you decide, okay, this is good to go?
Yeah, I just kind of don't think too much about it. I feel like everyone has their own unique perspective to bring. Everyone has their own uniqueness and their own ways as well. So don't let that hold you back. I would say I kind of base my content on what I enjoy reading this, like what I find valuable. So I ask myself like, do I think it's helpful? And I also am surrounded by feedback all the time. So like I get a lot of questions people ask me. I get a lot of discussions in design buddies based on what people are struggling with. So I get my idea based on that. I would say just sharing your story, sharing your learnings, sharing your own take on things as well. And don't let the fact that you see a lot of content out there hold you back. You never know until you try.
I see. So maybe before we close off, just like 2 to 3 more questions to ask you. So the first question would be, what are you currently learning in UX or in your current job, which is helping you with your current job?
Yeah, at EA, I am trying to learn more about the business side, how we can design to make more business impact. Because I feel like as a designer, it's also really important to make sure we solve user problems, but also making impact and the business side as well. And also been working better with collaborating with engineers to bring ideas to life. And yeah, so business side, and I'm also trying to work on like design processes within our team, product team and company, and trying to bring everyone, all the stakeholders, like not just design, but like research, product, engineering, business partners, really early on in the design process to get alignment. Oh, I sound so corporate right now, but like get alignment, get agreement, mutual agreement on everything, every step of the way. So it's like I spend more time on like the ideation phase, so I make sure the high fidelity stuff will minimize the amount of changes I need to make in the future. So like business side and processes, like what I'm personally working on in my UX design career today.
I see. The second last question would be, so far now that you have built a community in Design Buddies, and then you are working at EA, I think you are doing some professional running, right? Eventually you are doing.
That's one of my goals, yeah.
Yeah, I saw. I was like, wow, it's amazing. Yeah, so in the future, where do you see yourself in maybe 5 or 10 years' time?
Yeah, I'm not really sure. There are some skills that I want to work on, which are I want to continue growing my skills in UX design. I really want to grow my skills in product as well. I want to grow my skills in content creation, social media, community building, and running as well. So those are just some skills that I'm working towards. I really want to travel to more places and learning about different lifestyles. Yeah, different cultures, perspectives, lifestyles, and different ways people live, and tour around and share about it as well. And yeah, I just want to have fun, continue being happy.
I'm so excited.
Thank you. Yeah, continue sharing around my journey. Yeah, I don't really have... I feel like a lot of times when I ask this question to other people, they say like they want to be like a lead designer or something. For me, that used to be me. Like if you asked me like just a few months ago where I see myself in 5 years, like, oh, I want to be like, I don't know, design director. But I'm just like... I don't know, I'm just vibing these days, so yeah, I feel like that's what I see myself, just growing in those skills and seeing
the
where it
way
takes
I
me.
see it, it's more like I think you are content creation will be something that will be permanently be a part of you, even when you get older, when you get more seniority in your career. But I think what is important now for you, it seems to me that you want to grow organically in your life, and that's how it's gonna affect your career, right? Your career choices. Yeah. That makes sense.
Your career is part of your life, and I feel like your life is also more than your career. So it shouldn't be the sole focus of it, in my opinion. So that's why I like focusing on like many variety of things as well, the spice of my life.
Yeah, that's nice. We are getting to the end. So basically, I just want to know, what are your key takeaways for either designers who are new to content creation? Do you have any key takeaways that you want to give advice to them, or maybe based on your interactions with all the other designers in Design Buddies, maybe what are some things that you wish more designers would know?
Yeah, I wish more people would be open to experimenting. So for me, what I've noticed within myself and with other people who want to create content when they're before they start is they're afraid of what other people might think of them. And they're afraid of other people's opinions. And I was the same way myself in the past. I feel like it's not your job to please every single person. And I feel like for me, I put myself out there a lot and I get a lot of variety of feedback and I love it because it's data to help me iterate on it. So it's like all very objective data. So like if you want to get that job, reach out to that person, post that content, post that YouTube video, make that content. Don't be afraid. Like worst thing is you get some feedback that might be negative, but that's okay. It's all data to help you iterate on it. It's all a process. You don't have to be there. You don't have to be. No one has their shit together. Oh, sorry. Can I say it's okay? No one has their like no one. At least like in my experience, like no one knows exactly what they're doing. And don't let that hold you back. Life is a process. There's always opportunities to collect data, iterate, and don't be afraid to put yourself out there because it's always a chance to improve yourself there as well. Yeah, just try new things, be open-minded, learn different perspectives that are different from your own, and make friends and live a balanced life, be happy, and don't treat your job title as your whole personality because there's so much other fun things in life.
There's so much more to you.
Exactly.
Than just
so
the
much,
job.
Yeah, exactly. Your job is like how you make money. Make money doing something you enjoy and making an impact, but it's not like everything about you too. I feel like that's what I struggled at as junior designer. Like when I first started UX design, I was like, I made like UX designer at EA my whole personality, and that was what I would tell myself going back. I was like, yo, chill. Yeah, so I was like design buddies and EA is like my whole personality. I'm just like, no, chill. There's so much more to life. So that's
what made you came to that realization?
Yeah, honestly, it was seeing all these layoffs. And I was just like seeing people posting on LinkedIn, seeing how they tied their identity so close to their job. And suddenly it's like dropped. And I was like, damn. Like, I was just like, and that's what made me kind of treat my job like, okay, if business can drop me anytime, I can drop them anytime too. It's like both ways. And also just traveling more, going out with friends more, meeting new people, just doing more things in life that are outside like EA, design buddies, and work and stuff. Just having more fun overall and realizing there's more to life than that. Sure, like I enjoy my job. I enjoy design buddies. I enjoy content creation, but I also enjoy like traveling, meeting people, and experiencing new things as well. So they're all like equally important to me.
I think hearing you speak, it made me realize that it's more of when you experience life at the fullest. That's where you can put in more positivity and creativity into the work or even into the design communities that you build. Because if not, you're tapping on a very dry cup.
Yeah.
If you have your cup filled with life, with different experiences, like you were saying, you go for running, you go traveling. So all these things actually add up to your experiences as a person as a whole, and then that actually helps you to be yourself, right? At work, at events. Yeah,
Exactly.
I think that's a very, very good advice, Grace.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Let's share some stuff, yeah?
Okay, so just to wrap up this episode, so normally for our podcast, we have this section called Good Things Must Share, called Gutums. So maybe Grace, do you have a Gutums that you would like to share?
Yeah, I have two things. One is an Instagram account. It's like Silicon Valley Tech Roast. It's like a tech roast show on Instagram. They have really fun TikToks and reels about making fun of tech culture. And it's like really relatable too.
I'm sure people who are like maybe upset at work, they just go here and then just have a
so
laugh.
funny. Yeah. Another YouTube channel I really like is Stephen He. He is the person behind the emotional damage meme. So really enjoy. If you grew up in an Asian household and had traditional Asian parents, I'm sure y'all have a good laugh out of that as well as channel as well. One of my favorite YouTube channels.
Okay, thank you so much. We will be adding the links into this episode so you guys can have a look at it. Thank you so much, Grace, for gracing us for this episode. We really appreciate it. And then we look forward to this episode when it's out.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. It was fun.
Yay!